So, hi guys, today we are starting our unit on talking about goal setting. And what we're going to do first is, last class we kind of talked about the steps that you need to take when you're setting a goal and things that we want to consider. And one of the first steps that we addressed was that you need to actually know where your health is at to be able to improve on something. So today we're going to do an activity where you're actually looking at your own wellness and your own health and assessing what areas maybe need work, what areas you're really good at, and where you could use some improvement, or maybe like where you stand in that area. So today what we're going to do is I'm first going to give you, it's called your Assessing Your Wellness Wheel. And the first thing is that you're going to need at least 3 different colors. So on your tables you have 3 different markers. And if you look at this wheel, it's divided into 3 sections. And the first section from 1 to 12 is your physical health. From 13 to 24 is your emotional health. And then the last, 25 to 36, is your social health. And right now what I want you to do is pick a color to represent each area of wellness. So under physical health, you'll notice there's a little spot to put your color. So select a color for your physical, select a color for your emotional, and select a color for your social. Oh, you need one more. You can use a pen probably too. You can use a pen to do it.
What you need is sheet.
Oh, you need a sheet. I just want to know. Sorry. Is there an article? Most of the time. So once you guys have decided on your color, the instructions say, read each statement and fill in the corresponding pie-shaped section of the wheel to the degree you are achieving this. So right now what I'm going to give you actually is a list of statements. And there are pictures on there too to help you if you kind of get a little confused with some of the statements. The first 12 statements on the first page are actually all about your physical health. And what I find is probably the most helpful is if you read through the statements first. Okay, so what I want you to do is to kind of break this down, because this can get a little confusing, is I want you to take a few minutes and just go through, or actually about a minute, and go through each of the statements on the first page of your physical health and put down a percentage of how often you do that thing it's describing. So for example, the first one says, I eat a balanced and healthy diet. If you do this all the time, I want you to put 100% on the line right after. So right now, Rachel, we're just going to stay on this, on the packet first. So ignore your chart. I probably shouldn't even give you your chart first. I apologize. So on the first one it says, I eat a balanced and healthy diet. So if you do that 100% of the time, I want you to write down on the line 100%. If you do it like 50% of the time, put 50. If you think you do it like 75%, do it 75. So what I want you to do is take a minute and just go through each of these statements.
Ms. Harvey, can I have a sheet?
Yes. Let's give you a graph. And for the sake of time, I want you just to flip to the next page, okay? This normally can take a little longer. And what I want you to do is just answer the first 5 under emotional. So just like you just did for your physical health, I want you to answer the first 5 statements with how often you do those things. So the first one here says, I laugh and am happy when good things happen in my life. Do you laugh? Do you find things happy in your life? Tell me how often you do that. And then when you are ready, after your 5, I want you to move to the back page with your social and do the same. Only do questions 25 through 29. When you're done, just put your pen down. Then I'll explain the second part of that activity. That's why I said it.
Maybe it doesn't matter what activity we're doing.
Alright, is everybody ready? So what I would like is now, I want you to flip back to your physical health on the front of the packet, and I want you to take your chart out. So your chart's now right in front of you. So what we're gonna do is, on your chart, if you look at your circles, you'll notice that there's a little pie wedge designated by a number. Each pie wedge represents a number on your statement sheet. So if you also notice, the middle of the circle says 0% never do. On the outside of the circle, it says 100%, you always do. What I would like you to do is for each question, you're going to fill that pie wedge in the percentage of how often you do that. So if I, Ms. Harwig, eat a balanced and healthy diet, what 80% of the time, I'm gonna fill in 80%. Now remember that we designated colors for each area. So ideally, you are going to mark off all of your physical questions using the same color. Emotional, you're going to use the same color. And social, you're going to say the same color. So what I want you to do, as well for the sake of time, is only fill in those first 5 for each statement. And I will explain what we're looking at in a minute. This is sweet.
That's good. Sorry. That's why we're sitting in the back. It's on.
For those kids. So I'm going to have you guys pause where you're at right now. And I want to ask you guys, actually, before I explain what this is all about, I want to see if you guys figured it out so far. Now, looking at your chart and thinking about the information that you put down in your statements packet, why do you think I was having you fill in these different pie wedges? What do you think this graph represents, or this chart, I should say, represents? Yes,
To see what parts of our wellness we need to work
how can you tell by this graph, by looking at it, by
on,
this
which
chart?
still have a lot of white space to them.
So if it has a lot of white space, is that a good or a bad thing?
It's not very great because it means you're not eating totally great or you don't enjoy life, etc.
Exactly. So the more white space you have, those are areas that you need to kind of work on with your health. Now, why did I choose you guys to have the 3 areas of wellness? Why did I choose you guys to use 3 different colors to represent those areas? What might that tell you?
Which we like most need to work on, what topic?
What topic? So when we were talking about wellness, we were talking that you need to balance in these 3 areas of your life, that you need to be always working on things. So not only can you look at this chart and say, oh, I don't do certain things, but what areas of wellness do I need to really balance out? Maybe you have a lot of color over in your physical side. Maybe you have nothing over in your social side. Maybe you need a little bit more work on this. And next class, what we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we're going to pick out one area from each, or one topic from each area that you're going to write a goal and set a goal for yourself of something that you can improve. And maybe it might be something that you're almost close to fulfilling 100%, but you want to just reach that a little bit further. So this is the first step when we take a goal, because we need to see what you need to work on. And then next class when we meet, we'll talk about SMART goals and we'll talk about what we need to do to maybe reach and balance off our wellness or fix an area of wellness that maybe needs a little improvement.